Hey there, and welcome to another episode of your favorite libertarian. Today we are going back to green tip. In our last video, went through a bunch of different rounds to test out the Triarc rifles, see which rounds shot the best, and test out all of our accessories. In that video, there were some very interesting findings, and I decided to go back to green tip. Why? I guess you'll have to watch that previous video to find out. Click here to do so. Last time we started at the 50 and went to the 200, but the problem with that was because the tip of the chevron is 100 yards for the BDC, we actually had to aim with either the armpit of the chevron for 50 and 200, or we had to use the tip of the chevron and have the rounds hit low. So this time we're actually doing point of aim, point of impact with the tip of the chevron and making our adjustments from there. Here we go. Alright, so I started here, went 6 clicks to the right, then went 6 clicks up and 2 to the left. And I started hitting here. This was my 3-shot group at 100 yards after those adjustments. So I may walk it a little left, but we'll see.
Action's open, firearms empty, pointed down range. Grab any targets or other items you need off your bench and step back behind the yellow line.
Alright, so this is after zeroing and making my adjustments. This group here, and then I think I also shot a little bit up here, a little bit down here, but most of it was right in here. So I'm good on windage and elevation for 62 grain M855 green tip. Doing. Or am I? So when I was driving back from the range, I was going on a lot of dirt roads. Some of the dirt roads were detours because some of the roads near me were under construction and there were super heavy ruts, lots of bumps. And I think what happened on the way home is that this mount loosened from this spacer. And I'll show you what I mean. Hold on just a second. Upon inspection, these screws that are actually the base of the scope, if you will, that attaches to the upper receiver, those witness marks were perfectly in line. But then when I looked and took it off, looked on the inside, you could see the witness marks here were off. And I used a blue Vibratite. It's Vibratite branded, blue Vibratite. I tightened it down to the torque spec, but one of two things happened. Either A, and now I guess we're lettering it, either A, this was a torque spec given by Weapon Outfitters that was not sufficient for tightening these screws down enough, or my Wheeler fat wrench was not giving the exact amount of torque as per what it said I was setting it to. So either one of those things could be the case, but I will tell you this, I hand tightened these screws and they did not move without any type of torque spec, because on Primary Arms box documentation website, it doesn't say anywhere in the instruction manual or anywhere else what the torque spec of these screws should be. So I just hand tightened them and they didn't move. So what I'm going to do with these screws is hand tighten them to what I think is a nice tight fit without stripping the screws. And I'm going to reapply some more of that blue Vibratite, and hopefully that will solve the problem. But we'll see. You'll have to stay tuned to make sure that everything's working. If you care. If you don't care, then I don't know why you're still watching this video. All right, it's all back together now. I used the Vibratite again on the threads, just reapplying it. I also made sure I got some in the threading of the scope itself, and then made sure I had it on the entire length of the threads for the screws that I put back in. I did take off the witness mark that I had on those 2 screws with some rubbing alcohol, and then reapplied witness marks once I tightened it all the way down. And I could tell that these were probably, if this was the torque spec before, to the right, so my right, I guess. So let's see if I can make it your right. Then it was right about there. So I was able to get quite a bit more turn out of it just by hand tightening it. So I'd recommend doing that, or if you have something that does a torque spec, like some type of tool like a Wheeler's fat wrench, maybe add a couple inch-pounds to that, or try 1 more inch-pound and then see if you can loosen it by yourself, and then go from there. Not an exact science apparently, but I think we're getting closer. So hopefully in the next range session we can test this out again, make sure everything's good, and then I can give you my final installation tips for this setup, because this is not a common setup. This Cram 7.0 optics riser is supposed to be for an ACOG, and I'm actually using it on a Primary Arms 5-power SLX. That might have something to do with it. I don't know. Everything fit really well when I installed it initially. I think it's just a torque spec issue, but stay tuned. I'm going to make sure to test this and see if it is back to the 0 that I had at the range, if I need to adjust it, and then make sure it's holding 0 with some further testing. Stay tuned. Well, that's going to do it for me and the range test and re-zeroing maybe with a 62 grain green tip. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you like this video, liking really helps the algorithms, getting this to more people. And if you share it, that's one way that you can cut out the middleman and share it with more people. If you found this video helpful, one way to support the channel, just by shopping the way you would normally shop as a fellow libertarian, would be to click on my affiliate links in the description and in the pinned comment through my link tree. Tons of new affiliates added all the time. Really awesome deals on ammo right now. And if you're into fitness, workout equipment so you can stay fit, so you can actually move around with one of these things. And of course, anything related to the videos you're seeing are probably in those links. And in some cases, you can save quite a bit of money. So check out those links, and thank you. And as always, thanks for watching. Stay free, and God bless.